For over 20 years, I've dedicated my life to bringing you the very best selling, marketing, and business building strategies to keep your business thriving. Get ready to experience the success you've been searching for. Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Super excited today. I have the smartest man in real estate sitting right here with me, someone that I was very fortunate to meet 13 years ago on a random phone call. Maybe we'll get into that I will say was a game changer, life changer, business changer. And you know me, I don't say those things lightly. So let me introduce you to Stefan Swanepoel. Stefan, say hello to everybody on the Tom Ferry Show.
Good morning, everybody on the Tom Ferry Show. It's awesome to see you this morning. Hope you have a wonderful 2016.
Absolutely. So I love your energy. We share that.
We do.
So for maybe the 7 people that have not read a trends report, haven't been to one of the conferences, haven't seen you at an association meeting, could you just give them a little bit of the rich history of your background in real estate? Yes. And just give them the scoop, like tell them who you are.
Tom, for my sins, let's try and see if we can do that quickly to the 7 people you said that don't know me, but they all know you because this is the Tom Ferry Show.
That's true. That's true.
Tom, I'm actually an engineer originally, but I saw an opportunity at a very young age of 25 that we were looking for the CEO to head up the National Association of Realtors, the equivalent in Southern Africa. Mm-hmm. I never met a realtor before then, but I thought this would be cool. Anyways, cut a long story, I got involved in real estate about 32 years ago. Mm-hmm. Fell in love with the industry.
Yes.
Just the people are awesome. And from there, I ran the National Association of Realtors in Africa for a while as CEO. I ran a national multiple listing company. I bought a franchise for a continent. I grew that from 0 to 122 offices. I was offered an opportunity in America. I came and ran that franchise here, Southern California, then in California. Then I became worldwide president. And then I decided it was time for me to pursue my passion. My passion is writing and speaking. So about 20 years ago, I broke away from all of that corporate life after doing it for, a decade and I started my own company, and since then, I've started writing. And
how many books have you written now?
Next week, the week after next week, number 32 and 33 is coming out.
Wow.
So the trends report for 2016 and the SP 200 for 2016 is basically in my low 30s now. I've been writing a book for about one every 6 months for the last 2 decades.
So I think for a lot of people that if they didn't read, tell them just a little bit about the Serengeti, like the Serengeti book, like that experience, like knowing your animal type and all that stuff that for me was a little outside of what I thought was normal for you, but became a phenomenal, it was an amazing book, and it was a ton of fun for a lot of us. So just give them like a little scoop on that, and then I want to talk about trends, because the people that watch the Tom Ferry Show are way ahead of the curve. They watch this stuff because they're looking to be the very best they can be for themselves, for their customers, not competing against everybody else, just them against themselves, to be the best they can be for their customers. So we want to talk trends, but first, give them a little taste of the Serengeti.
Well, we have some things in common. A lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of commitment. But one of the things also is that I believe that you can do more than you sometimes give yourself credit for. And it's setting a goal, setting a path, and then going for that. And the books which I'd written before, and still write, are all real estate related books. That's my love. And one day after I'd written, I don't remember, 20 of them, I said to myself, could I write a non-real estate book? And of course my wife said, heck no, you couldn't do that. and I said to myself, why? Why can't I write a book? And I was looking for a subject matter, and you and I had spoken sometimes about business parables and some of the great writers, the Patrick Lencioni's and the In Search of Excellence and the Ken Blanchards and the Stephen Coveys. Mm-hmm. And I thought I'd like to write one like that. I'd like to write a book which changes people's lives.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a parable. After a long search, I decided I was going to write about that sort of Serengeti migration of animals. So I thought, if I can use some of the background knowledge I have of Africa, and I can write about lions and elephants and crocodiles, and that's what it is. It is basically a business parable. It's a book, how you can be better in life, how you can improve yourself by using a travel experience of Americans going to Africa and experience some of the facts of life in the harshness of Africa, and then transposing it into our life and saying, maybe there are some similarities.
When I first read it, I thought it was a modern day version of like this is a big book for me, like the Seasons of Life by Jim Rohn. Like it is
huge book.
The Who Moved My Cheese and all, but this was a really good book, and I certainly encourage them to check it out, but that's not why we're here today. Let's talk about the trends report. I was just on the phone yesterday with the CEO of a company I started, and when I hired this guy who was not in the industry, his first assignment was to read all 10 trend reports.
Oh my goodness.
So in a matter of a few weeks, he went from not knowing, he won the Direct Response Marketer of the Year award in 2013. He's an excellent business person, but he didn't know our industry. So in a matter of weeks, he knew the industry inside and out and was able to watch over the last decade what were all the trends that occurred. Did it happen? Did it not happen? What was the impact? How was it formulated? And today he's a brilliant CEO in our space like that.
Awesome.
So my intent for them is really twofold. I want to know, why do you write this? Now that we understand your background, why do you write it? And then what are the 2 or 3 most important trends for an agent today who, again, wants to just be the best that they can be for themselves, their family, for their clients, etc. So why does it exist, and what are the 2 or 3?
So when I became somebody who wanted to succeed in real estate, whether you're an agent, a team member, a broker, a manager, a franchise owner, it doesn't really make a difference. When you want to succeed, one of the things that help you succeed, no question, of course, is a coach and a mentor. But another aspect is always knowledge. It's just information. You need to know what the hell is going on. And when I got into that rat race of trying to be better, I was looking for information, and there isn't a lot. There just simply isn't a lot going around. So I started doing my own work, as I'm sure that many of you do. So we do that lot of research, but it's time consuming. It's time, it's effort, you're finding stuff out, and you have to go through this process continuously. So the very first 2 or 3 trends reports I actually didn't do for you guys. I actually did it for me. I actually wanted the information myself. And then as I got it, I would have friends like Tom or other people, and they would say, do you know something about ABC subject matter? I'd say, yes. Here's something I did. I would share it, and you would say, oh, this is pretty good stuff. So the report was born out of a need for knowledge, a need for information for both me, my friends, my colleagues, my company, and then later on it became something which we shared with the industry.
Yes.
We've now written, oh my goodness, I think this is the 11th edition of this specific edition, and it's far over 1 million words. We try and cover every year those topics that, looking back 12 months and looking forward 12 months. So in this 24-month window where we're now in the middle of it, what are the things that if you were a smart leader, a smart salesperson, if you wanted to take market share away from your competitor, what should you know about?
Yes.
And this is a snapshot of it. There's no ads, no commercials. This is not a newspaper.
It is you do a brilliant job synthesizing 1,000 things into,
pull it together.
You should be doing this, right? It's just very simple,
Focus.
very direct, which makes it easy for some of us that have so much going on to scan it, read it, get it, and then act on it. And that's the key to this whole game.
If you have, because it takes me only about 600 hours to write this. So if you have 600 hours spare, go for it. I mean, you can create it. But you could go and sit for 3 or 4 hours, and you could power through 600 hours, as you said, condensed, aggregated, summarized package information. And then, Tom, it's up to people like you to show them how to use that information to become better than the rest.
So give us the top 2 in your mind for agents of, there's people making $12 million a year, and there's people that are just getting, right into real estate watching this. So
top 2, well, tough, but of course that top 2 is rolling the whole time. It's always changing. If you said now 2016, where we're at the beginning of 2016, you want to make 2016 a winning year, I would say lead conversion. Not lead gen. Leads, we got that up to wazoo coming out of everybody. Is how do you find the good ones between the bad ones? How do you scrub them? How do you clean them? How do you sanitize them? How do you package them? How do you take that one jewel, that piece of gold out of this big mountain of rock, right? You've got to do that. So lead conversion, you've got to find that. You've got to get a system for that. We don't give you the systems, but we'll show you some of the paths. Another one would be predictive analytics. We have such an abundance of information these days from the internet, and you say that as well. It's overload time, right?
Yep.
How do we find out, how do we use that pieces of information to help us be better agents, better leads, better management, better recruiting, better whatever?
Yes.
How do you use information to be better?
We've gone beyond how do I generate a client, and now we're in. Everyone.
That's 101.
Yeah, we did a Tom Ferry show a few weeks back that it was, hey, look, so here's the numbers, right? 2 to 3 out of 100 if you're using this kind of solution. Leads, actual sales to leads. And we broke down all the numbers, and you can see people like, yeah, I get that. Now, how do I convert more? Right?
You're spot on. The agents generally think that they're looking for a silver bullet which will solve all problems. Ain't happening.
No.
What it is, we're on a journey.
Yes.
You're on a journey with regard to technology and mobile and social and education and mentoring and information, and you take them on that journey. I document the journey.
Yeah.
Both what's happened. I'm not a coach. I'm not a mentor. But we look at what you do and many other leaders and say, wow, that company, that organization, that's a best practices. That's good. And we try and capture that and then say, if you want to become best, go do something like that.
So for the several thousand people that will watch this, tease them a little bit. What's something that's coming? What's a trend let's look, just technology, what's coming? Last week I was talking to some people that are like, hey, we're going to be doing, Tom, you'll be...
Oculus Rift.
Well, Oculus and many others, where
HoloLens.
I'll just do a seminar sitting in front of a camera like this, and I could be talking to people in Australia, and I will be a hologram sitting on stage, and you and I both know that's coming in March. That's right around the corner. For all of our listeners, what's one thing that you observed, you saw, that to kind of have them thinking about what's coming?
There's so much. I couldn't put it into one, really. That would be tough. You're putting me on a spot. Whether it's Oculus Rift, augmented reality, mixed reality, whether it's going to be wearables, whether it's HoloLens or holographics, as you said, whether it's the evolution of smart technology, whether it's hardware, software, it is a continuous journey. And every 3, 6, 9, 12 months, you will consistently hear new stuff pop up.
Yep.
All we need you to do is just to stay with the curve. Get a good mentor, get a good book, stay with a willingness to be better every 3, 6, or 9 months. You don't have to beat technology. You have to beat the other agent which is not doing anything, right?
Bingo.
You have to be better than your competitor. That's where the winning race is. And yes, knowledge will help you get that. A good mentor will help you do that. Your commitment, your drive, your focus, your implementation will make the success. We are going to help you, but we're not your success. You're your success.
I agree. Okay, so let's talk about the most influential people in real estate. And I will say publicly thank you. And I know my team is honored that we've done enough to even be a part of this. But help them understand, why does this exist? So is this just like the Academy Awards every year of real estate? Who cares? Why does it matter? How do you guys do it? Maybe give them why? Why does this exist?
Like 6 questions ago.
I know, I'm sorry.
Well, thank you for the Academy Awards quote. I would love to be the Academy Awards. There have been many other lists by some other organizations from time to time in our industry. And most of those lists were put together with a little bit more of a casual approach. And the lists were not ranked, they were not really researched. It was just an amalgamation. And I had literally hundreds and hundreds of calls where people said, wow, whether you look at a Forbes or a Fortune or some kind of magazine, we have lists in other industries, whether it's a billionaires list or a company list, an expansion list, a global list. Because we do so much research here, can't we just change the research from not only being trends, but to also include achievements, people, potential, future, trendsetters? And we took 3-4 years to look at how do you do that? Because how do you compare a Tom Ferry to, let's say, the CEO of the biggest company in our industry, a Richard Smith?
Sure.
How do you compare that to a Brad Inman who runs a huge media company? How do you compare that to a new person who came in and created Zillow and created a game changer?
Yeah.
You guys are not comparable, but we all play in the same sandbox.
Yes.
We are in some regards competitors, and some regards we're friends, we're colleagues, we're industry. So we said, could we come up with a kind of a process where we look at size of company, size of turnover, reach, exposure, media, how many talks, how many agents, how many branches, how many newspapers, how many magazines, how many profitability? Could we bring all of that together and try and put it in a hopper and say, if we objectively looked at everybody in the space, if we can't analyze it, who else can?
Sure.
That's what we do.
Because of the data and the research and the people and the time. How many people work on this?
Ooh.
You and your son?
I would say total amount of people that are involved in the publication, probably close to a dozen. I would say final hour count about 400 hours of research just into the list. We look at over 1,000 people's bios, resumes, websites, CVs. We call probably 200 people to verify data. And then we spend in the last week, I bring 5 or 6 people and I lock them in a room for a weekend. I don't let them get out of the door.
Video.
Yep.
Yes.
I lock the door and I say, now we're going to argue every single person. If you think this person should be up 1 or 2 slots, you've got to tell me why. We don't do anything here for friendship. We don't do anything for sponsorship or advertising or influence. When you're on this list, to the bottom of our heart, we believe that you contributed to this industry significantly. And if you disagree with the slight positional ranking, you're entitled to that because it is a little bit subjective, but we try and put as much objectivity into it. And the criteria which we use is published on the website and in the book. We're very open about here's the criteria.
It's an extraordinary list. I mean, I know for someone like myself, I think for anybody that is passionate about the industry, to be able to go through this and to get a snapshot of who are the most influential people in our space, to know who's basically creating the rules, breaking the rules, setting up the game.
It should be your Rolodex. It should be your Rolodex.
1,000%. And when you go to a conference, who of these people are going to be there? Because I told you the first time I saw this, I went to the list, I grabbed my assistant and said, here's the 46 people I don't know.
Smart.
I need a phone call, I need a meeting. Like, if they're number 200 or they're number 10, I don't care. Stefan put them on the list. I want to know who they are.
These are the drivers in our space.
Yes.
And there's actually at the end 270 at the moment that make the list. We don't know how many's going to make it every year. And we have separate categories for newcomers and innovators and just social media. We even look at the politics and the Richard Codroys and the Yellens outside our industry.
Yes.
We look at the techie people, we look at the MLS people, we look at the trainers, the mentors, the coaches, we look at the associations, we look at the power brokers. So we try and cover all the categories in real estate. And we're trying to give every category equal space.
Yeah.
Now, they're not all equal by impact and power, but we acknowledge who's the top 20 here. We even look just at women.
Yes.
Now, women are interwoven in the list, but we look at all the different race groups and we'll say, who's the biggest on this space, in this category?
Yeah.
And we try and give them each a window to our industry and you a window into who they are.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So what's next for you?
What's next for me?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
What are your top?
Oh.
What are Stefan's top 3 goals? I'm asking everybody. What are your top 3 goals? What are your top 3 goals? What are your top 3 goals?
I'm not going to answer the question. You guys should answer the question. No, I have to answer the question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My contribution has been, and it is on a very deliberate plan, that I want to be seen as the key facilitator. It doesn't matter whether you say it is the point of contact, the most knowledgeable source, the point where the information comes together. I want to help facilitate and enable the industry that is going through this huge transition phase, whether it is from the old power baby boom generation to Gen X and Y, whether it's from old school to technology, whether it's from old technology to mobile technology, whether it's from non-corporate to corporate, whether it's from non-automation to automation, it doesn't matter. But in this process, I believe in my heart, and my indications, my publications prove it out, that we are going through a career re-engineering process. And the industry of the 1980s and the industry of the let's say 2020, is going to be a total new space.
Yes.
More transparency, more consumerism, more technology. And the youth is going to get the keys to the castle, which have been held on by the baby boomers now for 50 years, right? Those keys have in some cases already been passed, but in most cases, daddy's still holding onto the keys right here in their pocket, right? They've got it down here. So as that generation passes, I want to enable it, not only for my own company, but for you, your company, and I want to help that generation take over an industry and make it better than what it was. And somebody needs to bring the information together so that it's not about BS. It's not about politics. It's not about advertising. It is at the end of the day about who works the hardest, who is the best, who's the most innovative, who's knowledgeable, who's trying, who's giving the customer the service which they want. We hear it. Not everybody's there yet. I'd like to be remembered as one of the people that contributed the most in that process.
So what's your second goal? I mean, that's beautiful, and I know in your heart and in your head that's who you are. You're doing it every day.
Yep.
You got a second goal you want to share?
Well, we have used a variety of vehicles to try and share that information. We have put out a tech report where we analyze all the technology.
Really good.
We've analyzed all the trends. We've analyzed all the people. And then we bring an event together every year, the T3 Summit, which, again, we don't have, there's no sponsors. There's no trade exhibitions there. You can't pay to play. We don't hire speakers. We actually take people just from the audience. But there's no agents. All this year,
it's all executives.
The people on this list,
everybody's
so
there.
the people on this list, 70-80% of them come to that event. So again, it's not a power play. It's to have the leaders get together, almost like a G9 summit of the country leaders, bring them together so that they can have their time where they can sit and say, what are you doing? How does that impact industry? How can we do something collective to the benefit of all?
Yes.
That's important. None of the franchises, none of the big companies go to each other events because they're competitors, and I get that. So when they come to my event, of course they're not going to share all their secrets. Nobody's expecting them to do that.
No.
But 80% of what you're trying to do and what I'm trying to do, the market we play in, that's the same.
And even the frenemies get together there, which is
Oh,
beautiful.
of course,
and they
yes.
all get a chit chat, and then they get to know, oh, I've watched your company. You guys have recruited people from us, but you're a pretty good guy, or you're a great gal, and they get to know each other, which is, I think, very powerful.
Yes, you're 100% right. You get to find out that that company which you hate so much, they're not that much different from you are.
Exactly.
They're actually cool guys.
Yep.
And you and I have had the privilege of meeting most of those people because we do both work on both sides of fences.
Yep.
But many of those people, they are aware of the other person. They've never met them.
Exactly.
And I try to bring that together and break down those barriers and make the industry as a unit stronger against any, I don't know, potential outsider or enemy, if there is anything in like an enemy. I don't know if there is.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, so as we wrap up the Tom Ferry Show, first I got to just say thank you. Thank you for just coming in, spending time, being a part of this. This is one of those you're going to probably want to watch 3 or 4 times. You're definitely going to want to get a copy of this. We should put a little link, Marnie, like, hey, check this out, my site or his site, whatever. Highly recommended. I just bought it for all of our coaches. I give it to all of our executives. It's just one of the things that we do to stay not current, but to stay ahead. So I strongly recommend it. But as we wrap up, again, I just want to say thank you for doing what you do for the industry. Thank you. The impact that you make, both behind the scenes and out as another face in there, is just massively impactful. And for everybody watching that maybe doesn't know who you are, now they do. What they don't know is that you've been influencing, helping them indirectly every single day to make this industry better. So for that, all of us, we say thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for allowing me to be on the show. Thank you for the invite. To all of you guys watching the show and the people on the Tom Ferry Show, you're awesome. You know, it takes something to be better than average, and it requires focus, dedication, love, caring, all those kind of stuff which we often forget. There are many great people in the industry. Tom's not the only one, but he's most certainly one of the special ones. And if you have a relationship with Tom Ferry or somebody else that gives you that positive energy, stay with that personal group, support that personal group, and pass the love across to the entire industry. We will be a better industry, a stronger industry, if we work together. Yes. We can win together. And thank you for what you do. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Remember always, hey. Question of the day. What do you think is the most important trend happening in the space right now? Let me know in the comments, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, wherever you want to share it. Have a great day. Talk soon. Thanks for watching. If you love what you're seeing here, then click the button below to join our online community absolutely free. Thanks so much.